Welcome back to ATTV Tea Time. My next guest is one of the most prominent music video directors in London, Kirx. He has shot for artists such as Notes, Mahalia, Mabel, Steff London, Nafe Smallz and more. Kirx has been the man behind the camera of some of the most popular Daily Duppies and continues to capture outstanding music videos and freestyle videos. As well as recently, he has started his own content creation vlogging behind the scenes. In this episode, we discuss how Kirx made it to London and became an integral part of the UK scene. We speak about education, family, and the inner workings of a director's role. So welcome.
Thank you.
How are you?
I'm good, thank you. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good, thank you. We've had a lot of chance to talk downstairs, but not ruined anything just yet. So directing, I want you to tell me exactly, was that always the goal? Like, how did you get into that?
No, you know what it was? I was an estate agent before I got into videos.
No.
Yeah, and I had a friend out in Antigua and he was like, bro, come out here, we'll shoot some events and we'll just have fun. So I moved out to Antigua. I started running on set for like Michael Kors Next and just some other brands and doing events on the side. And when I came back to England, I just started hitting up rappers like, yo, do you want a music video? Like, because there's loads of rappers in London. It's really like easy to get into, what it was at the time. And from there, just one thing led to another. And to be honest, I didn't even know what like a full music video production was when I started. It was just me and my camera and my gimbal. But as things blew up and as I got better at what I do, started working with bigger artists, it just all blew up and I became a director.
So in terms of like university, college, how did you start? Did you go there? Did you learn media or was it totally different?
So I did media communication at uni, but to be honest, I only went to uni to move to London because I wasn't living in London at that point. And media and communication, I got the grades to get in and kind of just went from there. But that was like a little bit of everything, a bit of radio, a bit of TV, a bit of advertising. It was like a really general course.
Yeah.
And then that's when I first picked up a camera and I did some stuff with in our advertising section. And then, that's when I knew like, oh, cool, I want to do something with cameras. But I didn't know what it was. I'd filmed a couple of events and stuff. So
knew it was something around those.
Knew it was something, but I didn't know. It took a couple of years before first picking it up to realizing like, yo, I'm actually going to take this as a career.
Yeah, we touched on one of the previous episodes I did touch on like, do you think it's important to live in London to have a success in the creative industry? Yeah. What is your opinion on that?
100%. Like my friends who don't live in London who are directors, I always tell them like, yo, move to London because when you start up, you want to be really accessible. I remember there was an artist that hit me up like on the day. He was like, yo bro, like I need a video today. And I was like, yeah, cool. I had all my stuff and I was ready to go, but if I had been living in Manchester or Portsmouth where my family were living at the time, it might have been a bit harder to get there on time. And you might be like, oh, you know what, I got somebody who's local that can just pull up in an hour. Do you know what I'm saying? So I think it's really important to be in London where everything's going on and yeah, that's just the best place to be honest.
What was your first day on set? So obviously you said you went to Antigua, but when you had finished uni, you were in London, you were working as a full-blown kind of director. What was your first day on set? Like, what did that feel like?
What, with like a big set?
A big set.
My first big set that I did was actually in Zanzibar.
Oh.
Yeah, it was for Notes, My Lover, and that was the first time that I had a crew. We had like a DP, producer, everything. So it wasn't even like a London-based thing. It was over there. So it was just, everything was going on. There was so much, I don't know, obviously just being in a different country anyway is like almost overwhelming, but being a director, we're filming on a boat, like the Notes' boat was sinking a little bit. Like it was crazy. So, but at that point I was like, yo, this is the life that I want to live. Like I really want to carry on with this. And obviously with working with Notes, things blew up. Did Notes and Mabel, My Lover, which was my first big set in England. And I kind of knew that I'm loving this, you know what I'm saying?
And how did you get on that set, that big set? So you've worked with quite a big number of artists and a lot of the Daily Duppy. Is all Daily Duppy you?
It was up until a couple of years ago where I handed it over to one of my friends who keeps on.
But you started doing them?
I started doing the ones where it's half yellow on one side and half black on the other. Yeah, that was me. And then my friend Nitin, who was doing the lighting, and then Nitin took over the filming side of things. But I recently got to go back and film Steff London's one with the pink and black, which was really cool. It was really
that was hard. So in terms, how did you get that connection to be able to go on? Like I know how it is when you start on smaller sets and you meet people, you work with crew, and you work your way up onto those bigger sets with those bigger artists. But is that kind of how you made it in terms of working with bigger artists?
No, so it was kind of a thing where I was just filming like 1 or 2 artists a month, like not really getting. I was making like £200 a month at this point, and but I knew that at that time Twitter was popping, so I was on Twitter. I was DMing loads of people. I tweeted like 600 artists, and then there was a time where like there was one graphic designer. He was doing everybody's artworks, but I saw he had bare industry connections following him, so I paid him to make me like a little price list, just so I'd be on his radar. And it was like £70, but I didn't have £70, but I was like, I have to pay this guy just so I'm on his radar. And then from there, a couple months later, someone from GRM, Sakib, he put a tweet out saying, are any videographers available? And he's seen that, added me and said, yeah, Kirx is a dope videographer. And that's how the connection came, and that's how I started working with GRM.
Oh wow! So it's literally like you went out there and kind of got it for yourself, essentially.
Yeah, definitely. Because obviously I moved to London when I was 19, so I didn't grow up around a lot of people around here. I had friends from here, but it wasn't like I grew up around rappers. I grew up around people that wanted to shoot music videos. I had to literally put myself out there and
build it yourself.
Yeah.
I was the same as you. I moved when I was 19 and just had to.
Yeah, you just.
So in terms of when you were working with all these different crew, like, do directors kind of take round crew that they like, you know, people you might meet a gaffer or someone that you like, and then they're the people that you call upon every time you get.
Yeah, I think like I'm always down to work with new people, and it's not like I'm never going to work with these people because I don't know you, because obviously it's always cool working with different people. But like once you start working with people that are reliable, that you know you can always count on, and once you kind of build that relationship, like I've got a couple of gaffers that I can say, oh bro, can you just set that up, and they'll just know what I want, what I like and how I want it, and then I can just go off and focus on dealing with the artist, setting up the shot, and I don't have to worry about my lighting not looking good because they already know my style and what I want. But at the same time, when you're working with somebody new, you get different styles, you get different looks, and that's also a bonus as well. So I like to mix it up, but I do like to go back to the same people a lot.
Yeah. How important is it, like, for a director? I feel like a director like dabbles in everything. Like, even when you walked in this room earlier, you were like, the lighting, let me just do the lighting here. And things like that. And also producing, like you produce a lot of your own stuff, I assume, without even having a producer. So how does that work?
Yeah, so I did have a producer for a long time, and I still do for certain projects, but sometimes, because I've been in the industry for like 7 years now, I've got a lot of connections, and sometimes I just want to just do it myself, so I just get down to it. I just send out the emails. If it's a bit of a smaller budget and I know that I can handle the production, I know that I can handle the direction, then I'll just produce it myself. It can be overwhelming sometimes, and you can be like, especially in music videos, nothing always goes right. So when it's like there's a disaster happening, you're like, I need to get the shot, but then somebody's not turning up for the next scene, you're like, yo, but no, it's fun. Like
Speaking of music videos and speaking of budget,
something
I really want to talk to you about is the most recent thing you did, where you shot 26 artists in one weekend, and charging £500, I think, for an hour of shooting. Where did that idea come about? How did you execute it? Talk me through it.
Me and my boy J-Mal, it was the middle of lockdown, and we'd been doing freestyles for one of our friends, Artan, and people just loved them. Like, they're like, people were messaging us, can we get a video like that? Can we get a video like that? And we're like, yo, if we just rent out this place for the day, we give everybody the same setup, but we can change the color of the lights. Hopefully we can get some bookings. And we set it at £500, and once we needed like 3 or 4 bookings to cover the cost of like the lighting, the location, everything, and the rest was profit, right? Marketing, and the rest was profit. And I posted it on Instagram, he posted it on Instagram, and that just sold out in 24 hours. That was 13 artists.
Wow.
And then we were like, should we do another day? And that sold out as well. So we did 26 artists. We made a whole bunch of money. Like, it was sick. But then at the same time, we're providing value, because it's like, you got the warehouse, you got the lighting, you got a sick setup, and you got some content to put on your own channel, especially during this was just as lockdown was opening up, so people hadn't been shooting too much, so it was a perfect opportunity to not have to like spend so much money on a music video, but at the same time you're getting some good quality, and we were getting paid. So
I was saying it was so good for the artists, because a lot of people can't afford what some people are getting for music videos nowadays.
Definitely.
And, you know, we were speaking earlier kind of off the podcast, just saying about how, you know, that goes through different dwindles where there's loads of work and then there's not so much work.
Yeah.
You know, how it is at the moment where there's not loads of work going on. I think as well with different platforms, like, what would you say for music artists, from your opinion, is the most important form of content right now? Would you say it's a full long music video, or would you say it's something else?
I want to say music video, so everybody hit me up. But I think it's like important to just like be diverse in what you do. Like, you need to be on TikTok, you need to be on Instagram, you need to be creating music videos, you need to be making content in every single form, every single platform, because there are people on people on every platform. So yeah, I think it's important to just make sure you're kind of doing everything, because being an artist now with social media, it's not like it was before the internet. You know, you have to think on so many different things. But at the same time, a lot of artists, they don't need labels anymore, or they don't need as much help from labels as they did before. So I think if you can do as much as you can by yourself, then but you got to be, it's expensive though, but you got to be pushing out that content and get it done.
Because usually the labels will come to you. So just to explain to people how the process works, like usually the labels like will put out this artist wants to do a music video, isn't it? And then you write a treatment for it. Like, can you explain the process for us?
So it depends. So I work with independent artists and I work with labels. So with the labels, they'll be like, oh, we've got this artist, we've got this amount of budget, and this is the base idea that we want. Can you write a treatment, which is like a video pitch for the video? And they'll send that to maybe like 5, 6, 7 directors. And then whoever the artist likes is whoever will get the video. And that's cool. Then obviously with labels we get big budgets, so we got sick crew, we get sick locations, and do that. But then on the independent side, sometimes the artists will just be like, hit me up like, yo bro, I would just want a block video and I've got a car and some girls, and just like, you know, your standard rap video. And to be honest, there's nothing wrong with that. Like I actually really enjoy shooting those kind of videos. But and then I'll just have a set price for them, and it's a bit of an easier, smoother process, because with labels you kind of have to pitch your creativity, whereas if you've got a good personal brand as a videographer, then people will just come to you directly, and you don't have to worry about like not fighting, but like pitching against somebody else. You know, you just get the job, which is nice. Yeah. And you get to work with the artist directly. There's no like middle people saying, oh, actually, we don't know about this shot, we don't know about that. You can just be like, nah, this looks sick, let's get it. Or like, nah, I don't think you should do this. And just, you know, just make cool stuff with people who really appreciate it. Yeah.
Do you prefer then independent or label, or does it literally just depend on the job?
You know what, there's some label videos that I really love, and there's a lot that I find it really stressful as well. I feel like on some extent it kind of takes away the fun of being a creative, because there's a lot of barriers and things that you have to think about, but then you have the budget to do loads of cool stuff as well. Whereas with independent artists, you don't have the budget to do as much cool stuff. But I really love just working with artists one-on-one and just creating cool stuff, especially when we fly out and we're just like, let's just get like a lifestyle type video abroad and go to somewhere cool and do some cool stuff. So I think there's pros and cons, but no, I do really love working with independent artists. Like I really,
Talking about kind of highlights for you, and I definitely want to go back to Daily Duppy, because when you started that, like how did that idea come about for a start?
So they'd been doing Daily Duppy before with Chazzapetti, I believe, who's a sick director. He just done Jungle. Series. Yeah, he's sick. But I think he's gone off and done his own thing. And then I was really close with Sakib at GRM at the time. I was still close, but me and GRM were working quite a lot. And yeah, they just said, yo, do you want to like do the new series of Daily Duppies? And they just got all the artists in, and we just started filming it, and it just was so sick. Like just working with so many different artists at the time, and artists that I hadn't heard of before, artists that I had heard of before, working with like upcoming artists, like not like really upcoming artists, but like people that are just starting to pop off. And this was like 2018 when I started, so it was just as the industry was really like popping off. And it was really good fun, and got to work with some really cool people. Because
a lot of people watch Daily Duppies, and that's how they find out about artists, and then that's how people blow from there. So obviously when you were doing them, did you expect like your videos to go as big as they went? Because I guess that's how people found you as well.
No, I don't even know. I just came in on like cool, let's just shoot freestyles. Like it's cool, and I learned a lot from that. I learned how to manage a freestyle set, which is how we came on to end up doing the 26 artists in a weekend, because I learned about scheduling and how getting people down and how it all works, which was dope. And then I got to connect with a lot of artists whilst I'm filming as well that I might not have been able to connect with before, which was that was really cool. And got to work with Jay Huss, for example, which is someone I'd worked with him before more at the beginning of both our careers, and then we done the freestyle, the Daily Duppy, and at that time I was like so gassed, because obviously Jay Huss is Jay Huss, you know, he's dope. Exactly. So I was proper excited.
That's amazing. So in terms of like career highlights for you, what is one of the best days you've ever had on set?
Ooh, you know, everybody asks me this, like, what's my favorite video I've done? What's the best time I've had? And I feel like every video is so different. Like sometimes it'll be like I'll get to go and travel to a different country and I'll have such a good time and it's such an experience. And then other times I'll just go to do like a really basic block video, but the vibe's so sick and I'm like, yo, this is so fun. Like I want to jump in the video. So Yeah, I can't give like a best or worst time, but I can definitely say that it's just everything's different, and just the general experience throughout my career has just been like, I've been so lucky to have experienced it, you know.
Yeah, and definitely, and obviously not being based in London and being able to build such a like prominent career in London is you're such a credit to yourself for everything that you've been doing. So you've also been nominated before for a Rated Award, haven't you?
Yeah, that was...
So things like that, like you're just getting the exposure that you need as well in the industry. Definitely. But obviously, most recently, you've been cracking up the views with your vlogs. Yeah,
I've been trying to vlog. That's something new that I've just, because there's a lot of people in America that are doing music video vlogs. Not like a lot, but like a few. And I was like, oh, it'll be dope to do it in London, do a UK perspective, and just having fun with it, show people what it's like behind the scenes. Hopefully it grows, hopefully the people who watch it like it. So I've been getting a good response, which I'm really happy about.
Yeah, so where did that idea come from? Just because you saw it being done by other people, you thought, we don't even have that in the UK, so...
Yeah, do you know what, actually, this is the third time I've attempted to like be on YouTube. So
oh, really?
I tried it once in like 2016. I watched the vlog like a couple of weeks ago. I found my old hard drives. I was like, oh my God, this is terrible. Like, I'm so glad I didn't put this out. And then I did it again during lockdown, but I just wasn't in the right space mentally to like put myself out there and stuff. And then more recently, I was just like, oh, you know what? Let's start creating content. Why not? You know, I've got so much experience. I'm sure there's like bare young videographers, because now there's so many videographers about. I'm sure they want to see what it's like being on set when you're a bit more experienced.
Yeah,
and, what
sure.
day in the life is like and things like that. So that's why I wanted to just show people what it's like.
Yeah, so like we were saying earlier as well about there being a lot of videographers now. A lot of people will have more accessibility to kit and things like that. But how did you first get your hands on your own kit? Like, how long did that take for you?
I took out like a mad loan. I took out a mad loan. I didn't even know how I was going to pay it. I didn't even have a job at the time, but I took out this mad loan and I just got a Canon 5D, a 35mm lens, and a Ronin, and it was like £300 a month to pay back. And I was not earning £300 a month. I was like, I don't know how I'm going to do this, but it worked out.
Yeah.
But that's how I did. I mean, I wouldn't recommend that route at all, because it was so stressful, but it worked out for me, and I just had full belief that I was gonna make it work.
Yeah. So obviously directing, producing, I mean DOPing, basically everything you cover. So you've told me like the times where you had like good times on set, you know, you've been abroad and you get to work with artists that you love and admire. So what does a bad day on set look like for you? Like, what has to go wrong for it to be like, oh, this is a bit of a bad day?
A bad set is like, from the artist side, it's the artist turning up hella late, and we've got to get as much as we can in a little possible of time. From my side, it's like maybe a piece of kit hasn't turned up, maybe someone that we've booked hasn't turned up. I remember one time I spilt oil all over this warehouse floor, and I thought I was going to get charged loads of money, but luckily the insurance covered it, and I was so stressed. And I was producing, directing that one as well, and I was like, oh my gosh. And I remember I FaceTimed my granddad. I was like, Granddad, because he's like a proper hands-on guy. I was like, Granddad, how can I get rid of this stain on the floor? Like, I'm going to get charged so much money. He was like, no, you're just going to have to film it. You know? I was like,
thanks, Granddad.
Yeah, I was like, thanks, Granddad. But it was... But that's a bad day when things are just going wrong, and leading on from that as well. Sometimes it's like really cool working with artists on a creative level, but a lot of people aren't very good on a business level as well. So they take a long time to pay. You're chasing invoices. That's like a real downside of being freelance and being self-employed, is like chasing money. That you've worked for it, you've done it, and then people are just longing you up for money. Like, if people are cool with me and they say like, yo bro, I'm struggling a bit, if we shoot this video, can we pay, like, can I pay you like next month? Like, if I'm not shooting anyway, I'll be like, yeah, why not? Like, cool, as long as we've agreed on it and everything. But if we go to do it and then people long me out,
but you find even sometimes the big labels, they're almost like the worst. They're the ones that take the longest to pay you. Like, you know, I was speaking to previous people about this, and it's about like chasing invoices and like what is the hardest thing of being freelance is like, I think some companies sometimes think that you're just not going to have the manpower to chase the money. But you know, it's not that hard to get a lawyer, like, or get to back you.
And it's like, you got to think about like with labels, you got to deliver a certain amount of stuff and then send the hard drive to them, and they've got to sign that off, and it's got to be received properly, and it's just like so much back and forth, and then you might be missing a release form from somebody, and it's like they won't pay you till all those things are done, which obviously, like, when you sign the contract, you know that, but it's also when you're just like one or two people, it's a lot of things to think about. But yeah, I haven't, to be honest, I've always got paid from labels. Like, in the end, I've never had a problem. It's more I've had difficulties with independent artists, but I've always got paid in the end, so it's just
So with the just out of interest, 'cause I'm nosy.
No, cool.
With the music videos that you did when you were charging like £500 for 1 hour, did you get the money up front before you did?
Oh yeah, with that one, we took all the money up front. To be honest, most of the time I take money up front now anyway, but I feel like that's because I'm at a point where like people know that I'm established, people know that I don't mess around when it comes to video, so they trust me to not run away. But obviously there's been scandals within the industry and stuff, which I'm sure we're all well aware of.
Yeah.
So I understand from my artist perspective definitely why you might not want to pay up front, but try and just come to agreements,
Yeah, of course. Is there still artists out there that you still are like waiting to work with, or brands that you quite like the look of that you'd like to work with, that you want to manifest on the podcast of who you want to work with?
I feel like there's artists I'm just cool with. Like, it doesn't matter if someone's like mad famous or they're just coming up. I just like working with like dope people. If they just want to have fun on set, want to do cool stuff, they look sick on camera, like they got good energy and good music, like I'm down to work with anybody. And in terms of brands, definitely want to start working with some brands. I want to, like, away from music, I'd love to work with like more travel brand. Like my backpack, it's like, oh no, not this one. I've got another one by a brand called Wondered. They do like a lot of travel stuff. I'd love to work with like someone like them and just do cool travel stuff and just create cool content, stuff away from London as well, because obviously I've been in London for 11 years now, so it would be nice to do some stuff outside of London as well.
Yeah, definitely. You want to do stuff abroad as well, and get those things abroad. It's always good when you can get a music video abroad as well.
Oh my gosh, yeah. I'm going Cologne next week. I'm mad excited.
Are you?
Yeah, I've never been in Germany.
Oh my God, that's going to be so fun. So in terms of those coming up, so people coming up in the industry at the moment, what advice would you give to them if somebody was maybe in uni right now and was really good with a camera and wanted to get into it? Like, how would you?
I think just go out and shoot music videos for free. Like, there's bare advice saying, oh, don't do anything for free, know your worth. But at the same time, it's you against 2,000 other people trying to do the same. So you got to prove, like, get your name out there, build that show reel, build that portfolio, and show people like, yo, like, I'm actually good at what I do. But you got to do it for free. That's one thing I wish I'd done at the beginning. I never did anything for free. And if I could go back, I would have done a bunch of free stuff and given people more of a reason to hit me up,
Yeah.
But yeah, go out, shoot videos for free, build that portfolio. Just put bare content on TikTok, your behind the scenes, Instagram. Like, I'm rubbish at this myself, but if I was going to give that advice, it'd be putting loads of stuff on TikTok so people can see. There's some guys, Don Prod, there's some directors from London. They're from the Isle of Wight, I think, actually. And they just put bare content out behind the scenes, and people love it. They get bare views and they get bare work, and it's sick. Like, I proper rate it. So if I was coming up in the industry now, that's exactly what I'd do.
Yeah, I see their stuff quite a lot actually, about and how much it's blowing up and things like that. And you do think, like, I don't know about you, whenever I'm on set, I always am like, oh, I really should get some nice BTS pictures, but you just never have the time.
You never think about it,
You never think about it, but I suppose if that's what's going to lead you to your next job, and like you say, they get more work from it and things like that, people can see that they're quite fun to work with behind the scenes, people are going to want to work with them even more. So that's definitely important. How important, just out of interest, would you say it is to go to university?
I don't. Like, if I was going to be a videographer, I wouldn't go to university. If I could go back in time and knew that this is what I wanted to do, I wouldn't have done it. But that's just me personally. But that said, it took me to go to university to figure out what I wanted to do. If I knew from 14 years old that I'm going to be a videographer and this is the path that I'm going to choose and this is exactly what I want to do, then I'll go out and get the experience instead. But sometimes I feel like you need to go there. You need to get that life. I learned so much like life experience from university.
Yeah.
I was living in Portsmouth at the time. University allowed me to leave Portsmouth and just figure out a new life and everything. So yeah, there's pros and cons. It depends if you know what you want to do and you don't know what you want to do,
Yeah. And do you see yourself creating content like till the end of time?
I have no idea. This is just like a new journey for me, but I'm enjoying it. It's a bit hard to stay consistent because it's like you really got to think up like, oh, what? Well, first you're like, oh, do people really want to watch me? Like, what? You know what I'm saying now? Like, I'm just a normal guy, really. I just carry a camera. So it's like on that side, I'm like, oh, do I want to create this content? But at the same time, it's like, it's just fun. I'm just doing it for myself. Like, I'm not getting paid to do it. I'm just doing it for
enjoyment.
Yeah, and people have DM'd me like, yo, bro, like that helped me so much. Like, I really appreciate that. So comments like that make you want to keep on going.
Yeah, and also some videos, that you showed me earlier that's coming out soon.
Oh, yeah.
I'm very excited about it. But that's the sort of content that that you want to see, like things that excite you and engage you, and things that you're not used to seeing, things that are different. And I think we're in a world where everyone's kind of trying to do something different. It's just good to be able to actually provide something different and not just a copy of something else.
No, 100%.
So, but yeah, no, thank you so much though for everything, for your time and just talking to you, because it's always been interesting, especially as somebody who's more so in production, to find out how directors get onto set, and how you came about in the game, because I had this idea that you've been in London for ages because you're just so integrated into the scene.
No, I came here like 11 years ago, and I got into the scene about 7 years ago. So
yeah. I was going to ask you as well, actually, what do your family think of like you work in a creative industry? I guess all families are different, but
they were kind of cool. Like I don't really have too much of a problem with them. Like I think like my grandparents at first were like, they're from Argentina. They were like, they're super like university focused. My nan's a professor in a university. My granddad was a physicist, so it was like real like educational based stuff. But once they started seeing like I'm traveling around the world, like I had a nice car for a long time, and they see me making money, so they were like, okay, like, because they don't know, like a lot of older generations don't know that this is a legit route you can make good money in. So
yeah, of course.
They were cool. And my parents are just mad supportive, so I'm really lucky to have them,
Oh, that's good. Yeah. Well, we wish you all your best on your ventures, on your vlogs. We're very much looking forward to seeing what else you have coming up, and also maybe hopefully some stuff with Beta Squad as well.
That would be dope. That would be dope.
But yeah, do you want to just let us know what your socials are as well, just so people can find you and follow your journey?
Hit me up on Instagram. It's Kirx DIAZ, and Twitter and TikTok, all Kirx DIAZ. Yeah.
Amazing. Thank you so much.
No, thank you.